Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are back with the Cessna Citation Longitude, and we'll be using my Overkill's Longitude tutorial guide to fly the aircraft from Albuquerque, New Mexico up to Aspen, Colorado. So this should be a really fun flight into a new place, so stick around and enjoy. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkill's tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Alright my friends, so as I stated, we'll be using the Overkill Cessna Citation Longitude guide. It walks you through literally everything you need to fly this aircraft. This aircraft is a ton of fun. It is fast, it is luxurious, it is powerful, it is very forgiving in the aspect of as you're learning it, it won't necessarily take you out, but you know, it also works as a G5000 tutorial guide too. So if you're wondering how to operate the G5000 or G3000, as they are very similar as far as the touchscreen controllers and how to navigate the different menus and the different features that are with it, all of that information is in these guides as well. But everything that you need to complete a full cold and dark start to cold and dark shutdown at your destination is in the guide, including flight plans, weather settings, and anything you may need to match the guide one-to-one. It is all here. So stick around, guys. Let's go ahead and get the aircraft ready to go and fly to Aspen. Alrighty then, and as always guys, all of my guides are available on Patreon for Patreon subscribers tier 2 and above. If you guys want to pick one of these or all of them up, please also do remember that you do not just get one guide for subscribing, you get access to all of them. So let's go ahead and begin with the before start checklist. Now here's the deal here. I've already put the fuel in, I've already loaded our payload, so literally it's just a matter of us starting the aircraft and getting out of here. Although let me get spad.next running while we are walking through the checklist. I always forget to do that. All right, it is a little dark and gloomy outside here, so hopefully we'll get the aircraft going quickly and get into some prettier areas of the world here. All right, so let's go through things. So we have to make sure our parking brake is set, our throttles are at idle, the flaps are retracted, spoilers are retracted as well, and let's start beginning some of the electrical setup here. Now I want to make sure that everything is set the way that I like it in the guide, so I always flip all of my switches off, the gen switches off, APU gen switch off. Okay, good, that's a standby power. External power is available, though we're not going to need it, and I think everything else is good. So continuing on with the guide, let's continue here. We have our standby switch. We want to hold that test, make sure we get a nice green light there, and flip that standby power to the on position. Then we're going to come right on down here, and we're going to go to our APU switch, and we're going to flip it on. So we're going to go to start first and go to the on position. Oops, my bad. Failed, guys. I skipped a line. Also, turn your batteries on. Turn your batteries on. So it's standby power, batteries, then the APU. I'm like, why don't I have any screens? Oh, that's not good. So we need the battery power to start the APU. So let's flip that switch again. There we go. Now we should have some action happening here. And there's our APU performance. You can see the RPMs and exhaust temperature rising. My bad. All right, while that's happening, we're going to simulate that we contacted ATC and got all of our ATIS information. So I'm just going to hit the B key on our keyboard and get our altimeters locked in there. I don't like using the in-game ATC, but we have some awesome information coming from beyond ATC. There's another video that's going to be coming out shortly after this one, guys, talking about beyond ATC. So make sure you guys stick around for that as well. All right, so now that we have RPMs at 100% on the APU, we're going to go to the APU gen and flip that guy to the on position. There we go. Now we have some nice generator power. It powers one of the buses here. Okay, so let's look and see what we got. We've set our barometric pressure. Let's go up top and take a look at some lights. All right, so we want to make sure our emergency lights are in the armed position, so that's going to be the far top position there. And if you're in night or dark operations as we are today, we're going to turn a few other lights on as well. So we're going to turn our wing lights on, we're going to turn our tail flood lights on, and as long as we are fueled, this is the critical part, you want to make sure that your aircraft is fueled. You'll turn your seatbelt signs and passenger safety signs on as well. Making sure everybody back there is buckled up. And then internal lighting you would set as desired, although I think we're okay for the internal lighting. I don't seem to have any problems here yet. So let's keep moving our way down through everything. Now, again, we are simulating that we have contacted ATC, so let's step on down and let's set a transponder code. We're just going to make something up here today. 3652. How about that? There we go. Looks good to me. 3652, and the transponder is in the auto position, which should work for just about every situation. But if you're in a situation where you need to manually set it, you can click on that and select how you want it. However, right now, auto should work just fine. I've seen that it works really well. So let's start moving down here. And now we're going to get into our G5000 tutorial. So I'm going to skip through that chapter. There we go. Nope, that's Navigraph charts. I also walk you guys through how to set up the Navigraph charts integration. So now let's get into our flight plan. And let me get a better view here for you guys for the flight plan, because we want to be up close. Whoa, maybe not that close. Okay, how about that? That's a little bit better. Like ate the screen there. Okay, so we're going to start out by we're going to our flight plan page. We're going to go to Add Origin, and we are at Kilo Alpha Bravo Quebec for Albuquerque. There we go. We're going to hit enter there. And we're going to add our destination, and I believe it's K Alpha Sierra Echo for Aspen. There it is. Perfect. All right, let me move through the next page here because we're going to do this step by step. We're going to move on over to the procedure menu, and this is where this gets pretty easy here. Do we even have a procedure today? Let me actually look at that. I did not verify that. We've created our flight plan in SimBrief. I know we don't have an arrival procedure today. There's no star today. But we do have a departure. All right, so we're going to select our departure here, and we are, let's see here, going to select, you can just click and drag, which is really nice about these. There we go. The gem is 3, and we're departing on runway 08 today. And transition is going to be the Hemes. Yep. All right. And we're going to hit load. Okay, so let's see here. We don't have, the only thing that we are going to have from here is we'll have an approach, but we'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and move on down here. So, we got our departure in. That's all set. Arrival, we don't have one today. So we do need to enter in our route, though. So this is where this comes really, really easy. Let's see here. Again, scrolling up. That's weird. That's doing that weird thing. That's kind of odd. All right, so we're going from Hemes, and then we're flying direct. So let's see. I don't know if this still works with this. So we are starting with our first waypoint, which is Cannon. There we go. Cannon. And then from there, you used to be able to put in an asterisk right after that. That's not what I want. Oh, crap. No. Back page. That's what I want. I want the previous page. Oh, you son of a gun. All right. Kilo Alpha November, Oscar November. And do we not have special characters anymore? Because that's what I'm looking for. Huh, guess not. You used to be able to delimitate them with an asterisk. You could put multiple direct points in, but I can't find the asterisk, so I don't know. I don't think it's a space, and there's no space option. So I guess we'll just hit enter and we'll drag it through always. Let's see here. Southwest USA is definitely where we want to go. Any of these, boy, that would extend the flight quite a bit, and I don't think we have the fuel on board to complete it. So let's keep on going here. So going from Cannon. Then we're going to fly direct to Hotel Alpha Romeo Echo India. Yes. Yep. All right. Enter. Boom. And from there, direct to double. At least that's what I'm calling it. I could look at the detailed checklist or the detailed flight route and it would tell me the names, but for right now we're just going, okay, wait a minute. Oh, Southwest USA, red table. There it is, red table. That's interesting. Okay. And that is it. We're going to go back to our procedures. The only thing that we're going to have here is an approach. And we are coming into Aspen. And we are looking for a visual, I believe, 1-5 approach is what we're going to be going for. So the visual 1-5. And we're going to go for straight after it. Give me straight in. I'm just kidding. That's a transition, guys. Anyway, so let's see here. We're going to hit load. We don't want to activate that yet. Yep, that's totally fine. We'll be watching out the window to make sure we don't hit anything. And I think other than that, we're good. That's weird. It's getting that weird distortion there when it does that. Huh. All right, so there's our flight plan, guys. Looking absolutely perfect. And we can come up here and sort of let's go to a full screen map here. And let's do a zoom out. I think it's this one. It's been a while since I've flown this aircraft. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so it's going to come side to the right. We're flying down that way. We could probably honestly skip cannon and go a little bit more direct, but meh, we'll leave it as is. Okay, let's fly. So there is the flight plan complete. So now, let me get back to our guide here. 8.1 performance page. So let's get into the performance information of this. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go down to, there we go. All right, MFD, touchscreen, home screen, and we're going to select perf. Where's our perf? Yep, there it is. Performance, and this is the nice part, is it does darn near everything for us. So actually, let me scroll down a little bit. So my guide walks you through two different ways of doing this. The manual way, which is basically determining all the calculation speed numbers yourself. And then there is the using the automatic way, if you will. So let's see here. So let's go ahead and use the G5000 to calculate everything for us. So we've selected our performance page. We're going to go to weight and fuel here. And let's see here. Basic empty weight, we do want to make sure that that is set correct. So basic operating weight should be 23,714 pounds. If for any reason that isn't correct, you want to click here and change it accordingly to what it should be. This is correct. Our basic empty weight, sorry, not operating weight, empty weight, should be 23,389. Okay. All right. And then the cruise and stores, I just leave that sort of as is. It hasn't affected anything from this point. So from here, let's see here, we'll go to payload and we will set in our payload numbers. All right, so to do our payload, we're going to take this number here because I always leave this just as is. Passengers 8 weighing what they should. All right, and so we have 1440. Now we know I have set our payload in the aircraft to 1582. So we want our final number to reach 1582. Let's adjust this a little bit. Make that a little bit more centered. All right, so we want this total number, this number and this number to equal the 1582. Okay, so let's see here. So what would that be? We need 142 pounds, right? There we go. So this number and this number would equal 1582, which is what our total payload on board today should be. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on down. We're going to go to fuel on board. So we're going to move to the takeoff tab. Fuel on board. I don't use the sync. I don't find that this works well. I don't know if that's a bug, but it never works really well for me. I've noticed some variants. Like, let's see what it does. Let's see if it hits it this time. So 3813 is what it's showing. Let's see what's actually on board in the aircraft. Yeah, see 3895 is what's currently on board. It's dropping a little bit because we have the APU running. But so it's not ever quite right. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in there and change that to what we actually have. Okay, there we go. And that should be it for this particular section. So we're going to go ahead and go back. We're obviously not landing yet. So we're going to come back. And now we're going to go to takeoff data and start looking at this stuff here. Now, we have our origin, we have our departure. Let's go to our weather information. We can load the MEDAR wind. There's our wind information. And then if we want to, we can show MEDAR and we can get our temperatures. There it is. Temperature is 03. Wow, that's cold. So temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. There we go. All right, and then runway information. We have all of our runway information that is preloaded. If you have to change anything, you can, but we're going to trust that it's got it correct. Takeoff flap's going to be 1. Anti-ice will be off. Thrust reversers will be stowed. Takeoff factor is I believe that is your D rate. We're going to leave it as 1, and a rolling takeoff, no. Rolling takeoff is basically when you come off the taxiway, you turn onto the runway power and go. Okay, so you don't actually stop the aircraft and line up. All right, and finally, our last step here is to move to the, let's see here, let me make sure I'm going through the guide here. We want to go to our takeoff data. Okay, and there's our V-speeds already set for us. We can do accept V-speeds. It says check flaps because our flaps are not down yet. We'll get to that part. Okay, and other than that, everything else is good. So let's go ahead and continue for the engine start. So now getting into the pre-engine start here, guys. If we go to our nav source over here, we want to make sure it's set. We want to make sure the CDI is set to the GPS, which pink is a big indicator that you are. But if you have any doubt, you can come down here on the pilot TSC and verify that that's what it is. Okay, and then we'll come up here and we'll turn our flight directors on. Bing, turns both of those guys on. And we are good to go. We want to set our initial altitude via the SID. Now, again, I'm not using ATC today, so I'm just going to go ahead and climb to where I want. And let's see here. Where is our first altitude restriction? There is a good way to do this. It doesn't require a whole lot of guessing around. Let's see what we got. So here, we need to be, by Gran, we need to be above 12,000 feet. That's our first altitude restriction. So you know what? We're just going to set that to 12,000. You guys are going to watch this aircraft climb like a bullet. Let's go ahead and turn that down. There we go. Okay. What is my cockpit screen refresh rate at? Is that why it's doing that? It's doing this weird thing. Oh, you know what? It might be DLSS too. I didn't think about that. Let's turn this to high. I don't normally have a problem with it on high, so let's just see what happens. See if that cleans things up a bit. All right, so moving down the line here. Again, making sure parking brake is set, wheel chocks have been removed, spoilers are retracted, throttles are at idle, and flaps are retracted. Let's go ahead and turn the anti-collision lights on, letting people know that we're getting ready to get this thing rocking and rolling. Fuel boost pumps, we're going to find those right down over here. And we want to make sure that both of these guys are in the norm position, which they are by default, so that shouldn't be an issue usually. And now let's go ahead and come back. So we're going to start with engine 2. As always, guys, we are going to open the engine cover, select run. You know what? I think I did that backwards. I might have to make an edit to the guide. Let's set that to stop. No, I'm right. I know I'm right. Never mind. That is right. It is run. I feel like we should see some engine indication here. At least I know that we used to. But we're just going to open that up, hit the start switch, and off she goes. You can see engine start is active, but it used to start rotating, I thought. I thought you would see some N1 performance. Very interesting. Okay, and we're going to rinse and repeat for engine 2. Or engine 1, excuse me. All right, awesome. Now let's go ahead and continue on down the line here. So left gen, we're going to go to reset and then flip it on. We're going to go to reset on right, flip it on. Bus tie should automatically switch to the open position. Once we've confirmed that, we can go APU gen to the off position and shut down the APU. Any anti-icing obviously would be as required. Let's make sure our ELT is in the armed position. Okay. And let's see what we got going on now. So now what we've got is we want flap set to 1. There we go.
No takeoff.
Whoa. Yeah, no, definitely no takeoff yet. I do need to make a quick change to my profile here. I saw that only one throttle moved. Okay. Yes, I know. We're good. All right. Wanted to make sure we were good there. And let's see where we're at here. So, trims are already set above plus 4.5 degrees, but basically anywhere in the green you should be good. But based on our weight, we want 4.5 degrees. And let's see here. Now we are ready for taxi. So let's go ahead and turn that taxi light on. And let's figure out where we're going. All right. Let's do this.
No takeoff. No takeoff. No takeoff. No takeoff.
What the hell? Why did that happen? That's weird. Not sure how that happened. Alright, let's release the parking brake. No takeoff warning goes away. Let's get powering out of here. As soon as I unpaused it, it tripped out. Alright, so we have approached the runway. So we are now ready to start checking things here. Let's go ahead and stop us here for a minute. Alright, so let's verify that we have our V-speeds are displayed accordingly. We need our pitot heat to be in the norm position. V-speeds, again, checked and displayed. Landing lights are now on. We can turn the pulse lights on as well. Actually, I think those are automatic. They are automatic. Disregard that. They will come on once wheels are, or weight are off wheels. And let's go ahead and keep moving through here. Okay, I think we are good to go, my friends. Let's go ahead and take the runway. Okay. Alright, so let's make sure we have our auto throttle as arm. See, that's toga. We don't want toga. We want the auto throttle, which is back here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to power up. Let's center that heading bug. Heading bug is centered. Heading mode enabled. Let those wheels roll. And toga it. Approaching V1. Coming up. Easy, baby. There we go. How did the speed brakes? What? What is happening here? Let's try that again. Alright, flaps are up now. I'm not sure how the speed brakes got deployed to begin with. Alright, so let's try this again. We're going to go nav mode on, autopilot engaged. And we'll use flight level change. Speed, we're restricted to 200 knots. That was really weird. I don't know why I'm having so many access issues here. I have no idea how the speed brakes got deployed. Making our turn, which is good. Climbing now past 8,000.
Autopilot.
Why is it deploying the speed brake? That's what was happening. Alright, auto throttle enabled. That is so weird. Why did it do that? Like, autopilot just failed? Let me see what that button is bound to. There shouldn't be any binding to that. I'll have to check that later. That's really interesting. So, I'm using the Bravo throttle quadrant right now, and I have the toga button bound to toga. But when I depress it, let's check it again. It's going to get a little wonky here. I depress it. Yeah, it triggers the speed brakes. Okay. Alright, autopilot enabled, nav mode enabled. Oh, damn. Good to know. Alright, we're at 12,000, so now let's go ahead and rock and roll. Let's do this. Alright, and let's see here. It's at 13. Let's go all the way up to 41,000 feet. And I'm also going to change our speed from automatic to manual, and we're going to climb at 280 knots today. Alright, so at least I figured that out. I have a button conflict. That is weird. I wonder why it did that. Alright, well, we're above 10,000, so taxi or landing lights come off, taxi lights are off. Let's see here. Those should come on. I wonder why those aren't coming on. Interesting. I know they're set to automatic, but I feel like they should have still came on. Alright, but look at that. Now we're climbing like a bat out of hell. Little hiccup there, but that's why I leave this stuff in the video in case you guys run into any kind of similar issue. That was definitely odd. We are already coming up on 18,000 feet. This thing screams, man. Alright, barometric pressure set to the standard 299 So now I will see you guys when we get up to our cruise altitude, where we'll talk about how to plan for the descent. Alright, so we are now at our cruise altitude. So if we go to flight plan, then go back to VNav, here you guys can see we have our cruise altitude labeled in here. We have our vertical speed target, we have our flight path angle, and we have our top of descent. Top of descent looking like it's going to be in about 13 minutes. Now we should be able to see that up over here. So let's expand out a little bit here. Gosh darn it. And there it is. Right at the end of Cannon here, we can see TOD. So as soon as we get closer to that, I will come back with you guys and we will start our descent down into Aspen. Alright guys, so as we are getting closer, I'm going to go ahead and set my target altitude down to 10,000 feet. That way, once we get to our location, I'm going to go ahead and enable VNav. And once we get to our top of descent, the aircraft will automatically throttle back and begin our descent. So I'll catch you guys as we get closer to Aspen. And hopefully have a nice landing in. We have a target altitude today of 7,800 feet, which is why I'm setting 10,000. So by the time we come around to straight here, we should be at our target altitude and in a nice position for a visual approach. So I'll catch you guys probably right around transition altitude is when we'll talk again. So I'll see you guys shortly. Alright, I decided to hang with you guys until we reach the top of descent so you can see how it all works in case you might be struggling with the descent. So we're coming up on it now, about 10 seconds. Let's see, it's counting down. Oh, actually it's down a little bit. So about 20 seconds, sorry. See the power starting to fall off there. Go. And that's all there is to it. So now we're going to start to descend, and she descends just as fast as she climbs. I will give you guys that heads up. Not quite, but she definitely descends very quickly. First altitude restrictions already in place, 8350. So I'll catch you guys as we make our rounds and start setting up for the approach for landing. Alright folks, so you guys can see here, we're getting pretty low, very close to the mountaintops, little discomforting, we're getting into some less than ideal weather. So I've gone ahead and arrested our descent, excuse me. We're going to level off here at about 15,000. Just sort of hold it until it's time to start coming around the bend. And we're only going down to 8,000, so... There she goes. Just gonna hold it here for a little bit. I was getting a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. So if we're looking at the charts here, take a look at old Navigraph. Yeah, 8,300 is the field data. And let's see where we need to be. At red table. Well, red table's a VOR. It doesn't give me an altitude restriction, unfortunately. Kind of hoping it would give me target. Let me go to the airport charts. Let's go to the approach. And what did we say we're coming in on? We're coming in on 1.5. Going for the visual approach, but that doesn't seem to be fantastic. Visual approach is runway 15, hour in progress. Clearance will be given. Let's see here. It doesn't give any kind of altitude. Alright, there we go. So 10.5. Let's see here. So yeah, we want to aim for 12.5 is what the recommended as we come down around the bend. So let's go ahead and start that. We'll resume that. So I'm going to go 12,000. And let's increase that to 500. And let's do a flight level change. Actually, let's do VNav. There we go. Not flight level change. Just do VNav. Alright, just going to start coming around the bend here. Alright, I'm a little terrified here, I'm not going to lie, because if we don't see the runway soon, like, we don't have an IFR approach here, so... At least not that I'm aware of. Because that's not what we're set up for, regardless. 1,000 above. Alright, so now we're going to start our descent down. I'm going to start slowing our speed down. Gosh darn it, would you stop it? Gosh, why is it going so slow this time? No. We are way in a bad spot here, aren't we? Alright, let's get landing lights on, taxi lights on. I'm going to use a bit of speed brake, start slowing the aircraft down. I'm actually going to come off the autopilot, honestly. Disengage the auto throttle. Below 250 knots, I'm going to flaps 2. Come on, get back on course here. Landing gear's coming down. Let's see if I can salvage this. This is not in the guide, by the way. This is me just winging it now. I'm not even gonna lie. Not even trying to hide it anymore. We're just gonna wing it now. Okay, so I am going to use the guide to determine what our approach speeds are because I don't have time to navigate through. Well, here, let's see if I can do this quickly without crashing the airplane. One, 2, 3, and 112. All right. Alright, I think we managed to sort of salvage this. Definitely not the way I had planned to do this. But at least things are clearing up a bit where I can see something. Full flaps. Come on, easy, not yet. Yep. Hold it still. We're getting too slow. We're looking for 1, 2, 3 knots. Come on, getting slow, getting slow. Come on, power up. Verify that barometric pressure.
50.
Not really trusting the PAPI lights. They're saying we're too low across the board. I don't know that I believe that. Well, actually I don't know. The glide slope indicates the same. Oh crap, you know what I didn't do? I'm flying by the seat of my pants now, guys. We are not using the guide at this point. I was not prepared for that. It didn't even make the turn tight enough. I came in way too fast. So guys, give you some corrections. I waited way too long to slow down. Way too long to start slowing the aircraft down. I wasn't prepared for the turn onto the approach. I forgot how tight this was. I've only flown out here once before. A lot of mistakes. We're still flying at 104 knots, so I'm not really believing, although we're steep. Adding power, now we're getting too close. Hi. Having a real hard time maintaining power here.
50.
Come on. Easy on the flare. Saved it with a decent landing. Flaps coming up. It was a smooth touchdown. I did like the landing at least. That was about the only thing that was good about that approach. That was scary. And again, so just to recap, I was at the 12,500 feet where I was supposed to be according to the charts. However, I was way too wide in my turn. I was not paying attention to the turn arc of my aircraft. I should have slowed, and that's because of airspeed. I was way too fast when I was coming around that turn. That is a very tight turn, and I was turning and burning. I was still doing 270 knots when we came around that turn, so that was a no-no, right? And then I was fighting speed the whole way down. I didn't have my my performance numbers ready to go, so I missed my approach target because I started getting nervous with the clouds and not being able to see. So again, I stopped doing that piloting thing, that we're supposed to be doing. You're always supposed to be flying the aircraft first and foremost, and I stopped flying. I started getting worried and stopped paying attention to the critical things. So definitely a learned experience there. That was definitely not one of my my better approaches. I will tell you, if you guys have not flown into Aspen, that was exciting at the end. That was really cool coming around that mountainside. I just wish that it had been more professional looking, because it certainly wasn't. That was terrible. But I hope you guys learned something from my mistakes, and hope that you guys caught what not to do. You definitely want to be a lot slower, a lot sooner if you guys decide to repeat this flight. That way the aircraft can successfully make the turn. I would almost recommend, before you make that turn onto the straight transition there, doing that again, I would probably disengage autopilot much sooner. I think I waited way too long to take control of the aircraft. Anyways, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. That was still an exciting approach. Learned a few things myself, as you guys can tell, and I'll definitely be trying that again with the Longitude, or maybe even the TBM 850. I think that'd be another fun one for that aircraft as well. It's an exciting approach coming through that mountain pass back there. That was really interesting. It was a little unnerving not being able to see the runway for so long, especially with the cloud level being so low to the canopy, or to the top of the mountains there. But it was really cool. Once it came into sight, I did start to relax a little bit, and now you guys probably noticed, once I saw the airport and started to see the terrain, is when the flying started to get a little better, other than still not being able to manage my speed for crap. That was terrible. And I will say that I'm still getting used to the Bravo throttle quadrant again. I haven't been using it very much. I've been using my Virpil controls on the cockpit. So today we were flying at the desk, so that was part of that too. But definitely exciting, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, the guide does tell you guys how to walk through the shutdown process, but it's been a long enough flight. That one got me going a little bit, so I'm going to cut you guys here. As always, stay safe and healthy, folks. I'll see you in the next one.